So from your perspective or FortiGuard Labs perspective, how do you view threat-informed defense? Why is it important to you? How is it important to your customers? How is it making the world a better place?
I think traditionally there's been this mentality of organizations just building security for the sake of checking boxes and building a fortress against an invisible enemy. Yeah, you can block some of the, some of the brute force or larger attacks, but without understanding the capabilities of the opponent or the attacker, their tools, techniques, procedures, as we know with attack, there's going to be some holes. So it's really about having more of that granular view of the holistic approach, but from a top-down angle.
To my way of thinking, the attack framework is the sort of foundational resource of threat-informed defense. In your experience, practical experience, solving problems for your customers, where does the attack have the biggest resonance?
With attack having one framework, you can do a deep dive, you can get very granular and complex and map a lot of things, but you can also easily extrapolate that into say a 5 to 6 page guide. But the key thing is it's coming from one source instead of the variety of these different frameworks and sources. And it's really that Rosetta Stone, I would say. It seems like everybody and their dog now speaks attack that I talk to, that it resonates. They know it, which is also has been a fantastic thing. And at both levels, like I'm involved in SOC conversations and also at a lot at the C-suite level. And definitely it's a preferred tool for CSO as well.
An R&D project that we just kicked off in the center, we've just started to talk about it publicly, that Fortinet, FortiGuard Labs is a sponsor of, and that's our Sightings Ecosystem. And we called it in our blog post, Tracking Adversary Footprints.
I'm truly excited about this. I see this as a game changer if it's done right, and that's what the center is for, in my point of view, obviously, to get these things right, to get the greater mind share together to get it right and adopt it. Really with the Sightings ecosystem, because it piggybacks on being able to leverage a framework like attack. Now you're starting to pile data together in terms of sightings that we've seen, right, with attack data. So it's not just these big IOCs. Now you can get into the actual TTPs. You can map that to the kill chain, break that down by each phase of the kill chain into the attack TTPs, and really start to understand at a much higher resolution what's happening. And that, Rich, to my point of view, opens the door to a whole bunch of possibilities, right? Again, it's that foundational piece. Once we have that sharing and the data flowing, sky's really the limit. What we can do with that, you can apply machine learning models to it. You can obviously implement that into heat maps.
So a project that I've been thinking about for a while is what we're coming to call attack flow. And that is, how do we as a community begin to think in terms of sequences of techniques as expressed in attack? I think that's a project that you've expressed some interest in.
To me, understanding real attacks that we see that are happening, and they're what is likely the path of least resistance, how they're flowing through networks and identifying the common patterns of that. It goes back to this high resolution defense model, right? It goes back to threat informed defense, being able to understand the real-time methods. So it's not just theoretical, but hey, this is, if you tie it to sightings, these are real things we're seeing. This attacks, this is how they're moving through networks. The different sequence of events they're doing.
If you look out a year or 2 or 3, what do you think are from your perspective, what are those areas that you'd like to see the center and the community be working on in terms of research and development?
One of the things we haven't talked about yet is that when it comes to the data that we share on TTPs, well, IOCs and TTPs, and really the profiles of these organizations, it is very fluid. Like, it changes quickly. I think really having something that is, truly, I hate to use the word real time because it's abused a lot of the time. I call it pseudo real time, but as close as we can get to real time, because reality is that these attacks are happening so quick. An attacker can get into a system. The dwell time is way too long nowadays. So the more we can share that data and identify that data to expose, active attacks as they're ongoing, that's a big focus, I think.
Thanks, Derek, for the time. Looking forward to connecting up with you again sometime soon, hopefully in person.
Yeah, looking forward to that day. It's great chatting with you again, Rich. Thanks.